On Second Shot, we tackle 2 new headlines every week to find out what kind of wisdom the world is dishing out today. And we want you to be a part of that. When you see a headline you want to take a second shot at, or if you're looking for advice, or just want to tell us what you think of the show, email us at secondshotcast@gmail.com. If you like what you hear, rate us on iTunes. This helps us move up in the ratings so more people will see us. And if you want to hear more, subscribe to the show so that the new episodes will get straight to you every single Friday. We love you. Thanks for listening and enjoy.
There's a lot of news in the world today.
News that might surprise you, startle you, upset, or maybe impress.
News that's not always for the faint of heart.
That's why the man who failed his way to success, Heath Oakes, is stepping up.
Tackling today's headlines with ignorance on fire in a way only a millennial mogul can.
Take off your sport coat, grab a beer, and enjoy the conversation.
This is Second Shot with your host, Heath Oakes.
I have an extreme treat for everybody today.
Oh.
You know how there's those things where everybody, with stuff with accents and stuff, there's the, there's some that are like, that a woman goes, I just love hearing this accent. Those ones that are pleasant to the
like
ears.
Like yours?
Well, I was going to say mine's on the opposite end, where I'm the one that's like, my accent can be very annoying.
Is it?
Yeah, I what a lot of people say.
I've always thought it's charming, but all right, yeah, sure.
Now, Zach and Matt in the house as always, but our special guest has got the most just cool, calm. Like y'all are going to want him all the time. My buddy Aaron Hendra.
Stop talking, Heath. Yes. I'm embarrassed, man. You've embarrassed me. You had to start out with the accent.
I love it. I mean, the Australian accent is just, it's just calming, is it not?
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, it's funny when I've been in the States almost 20 years now, so I've had to smooth mine out a little bit so people understand you. When you're fresh off the boat, it's horrible.
Is it?
You can't order food. People don't know what you're talking about,
Well, I know what you're talking about being an East Texan, because even in America, even in Dallas, I have to repeat my wife has had to learn, redneck, because she don't understand half the things I say most of the time.
We do have a brilliant battle of the accents going here. I realize now, you two talking to each other, I'm like, okay, yeah, you're right. This is going to be a bumpy ride of an episode, but it'll be good. Yeah, it'll work out.
Well, you've got the radio voice.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that's what I'm going for anyway.
Yeah, you're bringing the pro level.
That's all I've got.
He's like the Midwestern, like with nothing, Grew up in Houston, but he has zero accent.
Just parents from Michigan. Somewhere along the way, I just lost it. Yeah, just the flattest, most basic. I don't know.
Oh, no, it's a great voice, man.
Thanks.
Come on.
Yeah,
that's a great voice.
That's what I'm going for. Yeah. That's all I got.
So I met Aaron. I got to meet Aaron several years back, and his wife Tiffany has been on the show before as well.
Yes.
And I've been trying to get him to come on the show, and finally got him to come on. And in the third segment of this episode, we'll get to know more about Aaron, his journey, and his story as well. But I'm glad to have you on, and hopefully my listeners don't ask to kick me out and have only you, because your accent's so smooth and nice.
Yeah, anybody reaching out saying, more Aaron, please. Let us know. Send us an email, secondshotcast@gmail.com. Yeah.
And I have a feeling this first headline can and may have a little emotion tied to it with some people, I think.
And let me tell you, I love when we get into headlines like this, because often, the stuff that I'm most often afraid to talk about on a show, that I'm like, I don't know if we should do, that's the best stuff.
Yes.
Sometimes the best stuff is the stuff that you're not sure about. Yes. Our first headline today: Nike shares fall after Colin Kaepernick ads revealed. Nike shares fell Tuesday after the company selected the controversial former San Francisco 49ers quarterback Colin Kaepernick as the new face of the athletic wears company Just Do It campaign, which is celebrating its 30th anniversary. The thing said, believe in something even if it means sacrificing everything, #JustDoIt. Kaepernick has been with Nike since 2011. The athlete is currently a free agent and has not played on an NFL team since the 2016 season. Big headline for Second Shot.
So for the people that have been under a rock, I'm going to give you why this is a headline. It is Colin Kaepernick kneeled to protest police brutality and oppression and everything like that, and kneeled at the national anthem in football, and it has caused a big uproar. And if you're under a rock, you don't know about this story only. What I want to make a disclaimer on: everything we're going to talk about has zero to do with this story, my thoughts, my beliefs, or anything at all. Okay? Everybody totally understand here. I'm not talking about this. The headline and the move made me think of something that I want to talk about, but it's not to do with the headline. I'm not giving my opinions on it or anything like that, but this gives me a deal that I want to talk about risk.
Risk. Okay, kind of like talking about this. Yes, ideologically independent here. Like we're not going into the weeds on it. It's fine.
So make sure everybody knows.
So no politics. No politics. You know what I think's
yeah.
interesting about this, though, and I just thought about it.
Yeah.
The fact that the markets took it down is an interesting thing.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And the markets really, they price in the news. It's a truthful reaction of how people feel if the value of a company goes down.
Yeah, well, it's funny. I feel the opposite way. I think for the reason Heath thinks. I'm surprised it went down. I'm really, because this is it's a surprising thing out of Nike.
I knew it'd go down right away.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that shows how much
I knew it would go down right away because there would be you understand the markets go up and down with people, with investors either putting more money in or putting out.
Right.
I guarantee investors.
Sentiment.
Yes,
it's investor sentiment.
Absolutely. So I guarantee there's a lot of investors that came out, got scared about what was going to happen, pull their money out, and the share drops. Now, that not to say by the time this podcast recorded that it is not back up because other investors go, I'm investing because of it. Who knows?
Right.
But I thought it was interesting because it hit me with risk and talking about how you got to take risk in life, you got to take risk in business. There's times that it is go for it or nothing, right? And I think about like Kodak. Kodak was if not number one, top 3 largest companies in the world at one time. Nobody really realizes Kodak actually developed the first digital camera ever. But they shunned it, put it aside because it would kill their whole business model, because their whole business model was film and all that, right? And digital would kill, so they killed it. Kodak is now almost nothing. They're almost nothing. So like they didn't take a risk on the new technology. They wanted to stick with everything old, and they're nothing. And then you take a lot of these mid-cap companies that are doing things, taking a risk to rebrand or to redo. Dunkin' Donuts is moving from the kind of the bigger stores to the smaller, like drive-through, really quick type thing.
Sure.
Even though they're a long-established company, but they knew they had to do something to make a move and really stick more in the beverage market, not the other stuff. And we don't know if that risk will pay off or not.
But IHOP changed their name to IHOB for like a month.
Yeah,
that was a thing.
They did a risk there, whatever it was. And Aaron, you and I have talked along a lot of times in being in your career, you've taken lots of risk. And, it's scary to take them.
Yeah. But it's the only way to grow.
I agree.
When you're safe, you don't grow.
I agree. And don't you just feel stagnant when you're safe? Like if you're just kind of going mundane and going through motions, don't you just, like, I feel like if depression hits, that's when it starts hitting, is when you're just going through motions.
Yeah.
It's kind of thrilling to take that risk.
It is. And that's the faith thing, that I'll probably talk about in my story, but that's been a big thing for me, and they go hand in hand. Risk, faith, risk. Oh, I agree. That's true. What I mean? You're stepping out into the unknown, and it's interesting that Kodak, they saw that wave coming, and then they shunned away from it.
Well, they created it.
they were the ones that started it.
Yeah, their engineer created the first digital camera.
And then they just backed out.
They fired him and everybody else because that would kill their business model.
Film sells for more. What's weird about this? We talked about this.
How much did that backfire?
Yeah, that didn't work out great. It's like Blockbuster laughing Netflix out the door. You remember that? Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's weird about this because Nike, like, they're not New Balance. They're not some little itty-bitty shoe company. Like, they're a big deal. They got stores in malls. It looks like the Apple store. Like, they sell athletic wear. Like, Nike is Nike. We know Nike. Everybody knows Nike. It's practically a household name. Why take a risk like this?
Nobody knows that. I mean, I wouldn't have a clue.
Yeah, we weren't in the boardroom. We don't know.
But I would say that when it's time to take Euro risk, right? Like, and it's scary. And you know what's interesting? And Aaron, you're a guy who has been on your roller coaster through. I mean, in the music industry is a roller coaster.
It sure is, yeah.
And it's so funny that I talk about with my book Ignorance on Fire. You talk about knowledge on ice and things. The more knowledge I've gained, the harder it is to take risks.
Right.
When I didn't know as much, it was like, I'm gonna go do it.
Ignorance is bliss.
It really is.
Yeah.
Is it not? I mean, can you look back in times and think about times when you maybe should have taken a risk, or when you did take risk and how it turned out?
No, I mean, I've always taken a risk. I've been out of my comfort zone for about 20 years, I think. And I remember when I was 23 years old. I'll tell the story later, but I had a big breakthrough success, in my very beginning as a songwriter, And I thought, if this doesn't work out, I'll give it till I'm 25.
Yeah.
2 years. And then I can go back to university or whatever and get a degree or finish my degree. Just the years go by and
still in it.
For me, it's like it's this or nothing.
Yep.
Never give up.
No plan B.
And I just decided, that my whole life is about music and writing songs, no matter what. And I think you have to kind of burn those bridges or burn the
boats.
What is it? Burn the ships?
Yeah, burn the ships.
I don't know. Burn the ships, yeah.
Something, you know what I mean? But it's 100% commitment, more than that. And all the mentors, all the people I look up to, it's like you really need to give it, 1,000%. Otherwise, you're not going to make it. The world is so competitive.
And the thing is, the only way you move forward is by taking risk. Mm-hmm. And so no matter how big you are or however it is, if you stay stagnant, you're going to die. Kodak was one of the largest companies in the world, and it's obsolete now. Like Apple has the potential that in 20 years can be obsolete no more. I know it's hard for people to believe, but it's possible if they don't keep taking risks to move forward. And I think us in our personal lives too, we get too hung up on scared to take that leap of what's going to happen when if you don't, look, there's times you're going to take your risk, and it has for me too, that it doesn't work out. The story doesn't end up pretty, okay? But one thing I do know is if I don't take them, I know it's not going to either. I know I'm not going to be moving forward. I'm not going to be growing. I'm not going to be learning. I'm going to be stagnant. I'm not going to be fulfilled. And so I can sit there and try to milk in that and not take that risk, never put myself out there to be ridiculed or to be told I was dumb for doing that or, all of those things. But yet I'm still going to be here and I'm going to be going backwards instead of forward. So I'm going to tell you, if you've been sitting on that, that teeter-totter trying to figure out what to do, just take the risk, take the jump, no matter what it is. If you feel, if you feel passionate, if you feel sold on it, you got to go. Whatever it takes, burn your bridges, burn the ships. Take the risk, make it happen. If you fail, take another risk. One of those risks will pay off, I can promise you. We'll be back in a minute on the second segment of Second Shot.
He's a suit and tie kind of guy with deep Southern roots. Heath Oaks hosts more of Second Shot coming up on RNCN.
To all of my friends in the great state of Texas, if you have not taken advantage, I have a way to save you a ton of money. I have saved over about $3,000 in the last year, and I have no hassle. Go to energyogre.com, put in the promo code SECONDSHOT. Now listen, promo code SECONDSHOT, and you're going to get a free month just for signing up and saving a ton of money. So don't be crazy. Stop sitting around talking about, is this the real deal? And go do it right now. energyogre.com, promo code SECONDSHOT, and a free month. Thanks. Go get it now. Run.
Ready, aim, fire. Second Shot is back for another round on RNCN.
The other thing that stinks is I'm going to start doing, I just thought about it, is I'm going to make sure I have me an umbrella in my car from now on. Like, trying to run in being completely, I don't either, but like walking in today being completely soaked, I was like.
It's a good downpour out there.
It is.
Yeah, it's
coming down. I'm like, that would have been smart, but again, I've never been accused for being a smart person, so
you took a risk.
Well, at some point,
Aaron comes in looking all perfect, has his umbrella like a smart person.
Thanks to the Cattle Baron's ball. Ooh. The gift bag that they give you at the end.
Yep.
I put that aside for the rainy day, and it happened today. So
I come walking in, and I'm literally got water all over me, and Aaron sits there and looks like he's the perfect like Australian model guy, like not a drop of water on him. Like, man. With his umbrella.
Well,
made me jealous.
I had to look good for you for the show today.
It's true. This is filmed. Yeah, that's important. Our next story, Heath, I think you can have a little bit to say about this because this is kind of a recent development for you. Lawnmower parents are the new helicopter parents, and we are not here for it. Lawnmower parents are parents that go to whatever lengths necessary to prevent their child from having to face adversity, struggle, or failure. Instead of preparing children for challenges, they mow obstacles down so kids won't experience them in the first place. This is not like helicopter parents who just kind of hover and watch and are always around their kids, right? That's a helicopter parent. Yep. Lawnmower parents are knocking down obstacles for you. We'll break that door in. You don't have to do it. Relax.
Not gonna let you fall.
Yeah, not gonna let you fall. But the argument against this is therefore you won't learn to get back up.
Yep.
So Heath, you're a new parent. What do you?
Well, here's what's funny is, before I had a child, I was easy like, that's crazy. That shouldn't be hard. You got to let them fail. Because I was the guy who, like, my parents let me fail, hit my head. You know, they let me do the risky stuff, the things like that, to where I learned, right? So I'm like, oh, no, y'all are crazy. That should be easy. I mean, but when you have a little girl, when she's crawling up on that chair and I know she's about to fall, nothing in my body wants me to let her fall. All I want to do is grab her and not let her hit her head, because not a drop of me makes that girl want to have any pain whatsoever throughout life. However, the reality and if I get emotion out of it, knowing reality of life is falling, hitting your head, doing all that. So, like, I'm not going to be able to do that forever. And so I either want to make a decision on let that happen now while she's in my care, where I can pick her up and say, it's all right, you can go again. Or later in life when I'm not able to be around and she has no idea how to react to it, right? Yeah. And we see that in our generation today with a lot of people, not just, I think it's more in general. I don't even know if it's general. It doesn't even feel like it's generational hardly to me, as much as it's just so many entitled people.
Yeah, I'm a bit older than you guys. You know, I actually remember a time where there was no internet, no cell phones. And, you know, I think that so much of it is created by, you know, kids and millennials, you know, generation now seeing a perfect life all the time on Instagram, and it's not real. No. You know, but you think it's real. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that's why there's so much anxiety, depression, whatever. You see all the stats about Facebook, you know, and all that sort of stuff. People looking at perfect lives and wishing their life, you know, was as good as that. It's not real. You know, it's a tough job as a parent, man. You know. Yeah.
But what you just said hit me. That's a, you know, that is the thing that's different nowadays. And all of depression, everything's on the rise, because I think that it is, people have this thought now that this is how life's supposed to be. And that's where I think it's even more important for influencers and people that are stuff they look at to be open and telling the truth of their stories.
Yeah, be real.
More and more. Yeah. That way to let people know that, hey, yeah, I am here. But let me tell you, this all had to go through in order for that to happen. And that stuff is reality. You know, life is tough. Life's going to kick you in your teeth. You know.
Yeah, it's not pretty.
No, the lawnmower parents are the parents that have the participation trophies for everybody. You know, not the ones that let somebody know they win and somebody loses. You know, because in life you win and you lose. And I've said this before, but you know, as a kid, I got my butt whooped after we won a baseball game, and I've gotten my butt whooped after we lost. Because after we won, I was a braggadocious, you know, arrogant, throwing it in everybody's face, and I got whooped that ain't how you handle yourself. And I got whooped when I cried and whined and threw a fit after we lost on, no, you be a good loser. You suck it up. They were better than you. You got to work harder next time. Those were such impactful lessons in life for me. Mm-hmm. If it wasn't for those, I don't know. I mean, those things have stuck with me forever. Yeah. And it was key. If I wasn't able to mow those obstacles down myself and get falling down, I mean, how can, you know, all the stuff and knocks and scrapes that go along in life, like, you don't know how to react to that thing. And I think you're right. I think that's where that depression and everything comes in, is that you just don't know how to handle it.
And it's tough, because I think I do wonder if there's less opportunity now to let your kids kind of go off and do their own thing. My mom loves to talk about how when we were kids, we used to go to Mexico, because when they moved from Michigan to Texas, they moved to this place called the Valley, which is right next to the border, and we would go down there to visit friends, and we go over the border, just you know, not like way deep into Mexico, just, you know, a couple blocks in, and my parents would give my sister and I both like $20 when we were like 12 and 10, and she'd be like, go for it, see you in 3 hours. Yeah. Like, nowadays, that's insane. Yeah, you would be arrested for letting your kids do that in a foreign country. But, like, back then, that was cool, because there was, like, just, I guess, less of an understanding that, like, the world might be a scary place and bad things might happen. And letting us go off and do that thing was great for independence. Like, I was in a foreign country and I was 10 years old, and I had to figure out how to exchange money with somebody for something. Like, that's great. But I would never let my kids do that. Yeah. So I do wonder. I bought this cool, like, fake skull thing that I still have in my apartment today. Funny. Believe it or not, it's the dumbest thing. But I was like, look, Mom bought a skull. She's like, wow, all right, that's me. I was 10. I don't know. Yeah. Next time she gave me $10. But I do wonder if, like, part of this is because we watch news and we consume media, and when the world is a scary place. And we know that more now. Not that it wasn't then. Yeah. Like, it probably still was just as bad. But I think it's easy for people to get scared. And like, you do have to find that balance, not only at home when you don't want your daughter to fall off a chair, but also like in public, in the world. Yeah, when like you have to step back and say, okay, you go do you. Like, you're on your own here. It's got to be difficult to instill that ownership.
And same thing in leadership too, and being around people, managing people, or any of that, and being in any part of a company, that you've got to let you've got to let people figure things out on their own sometimes. I always talk about the analogy, like everybody goes, how do you when you got that person driving to the tree and you know they're going to fail right and hit that tree, how do you stop them from hitting it? I go, you don't. I reach over and I hit the gas pedal. I do. Because I'm a hard-headed, stubborn person, and hard-headed and stubborn people are going to want to try things on their own, but if they hit the tree, they will be humble to go, all right, you tell me what to do, that didn't work, okay? Arrogant people get back in the car and go to another tree. That's people you can't deal with, okay? Yeah. But I know that I may have to try it myself, and so I just steer people to hurry up and get in there. Mm-hmm. And then getting out and going, okay, now let me guide you how it is. Because if you keep restraints on people and go, no, you only do this, don't try anything creative, don't try anything else, you stay right here, they're always going to wonder, and they may not ever fully do it because they're going to want to be trying to do it their own way, and you're going to have a big tug-of-war match nonstop.
Right.
You know, you got to let people go to obstacles and hit them and go through. That's the only way you get breakthroughs, too. You never know what happens.
And failure's underrated. I agree. But it is also important to draw a line, right? Yep. If Brighton's, on a chair that's a foot tall over carpet or a pillow, not so bad. If she's halfway up like a bookshelf, okay, now you got a problem. So you got to find that balance somewhere. And I think it's a lot of times it just feels easier for parents to go, you know what, I'll just watch everything. I'll just do it all. And like that is detrimental in the long run.
Were your parents lawnmower parents, helicopter parents, or what was that like?
We grew up on a dairy farm. My dad was like, he's the hardest working guy I've ever known. You know what I mean? And my mum was awesome. So she raised 3 boys, and, if you milk cows, you get up at like 4 a.m. and you go to sleep at 10 at night. So
it's funny. Something about Australia, I don't think about milking cows.
No, there's got lots of cows over there and stuff like that. I mean, they had different jobs, but, I was thinking about, your responsibility as a parent. I don't have kids, but I think so much of it is kids, they copy what they see, not what they hear.
It's true.
You can talk till the cows come home. No pun intended. No pun intended. But it's what they see you doing, your example that you set in life, that they end up copying. Kids are always going to grow up and do stupid stuff and rebel and push the limits and all that sort of stuff. But then when they make the mistake, they're probably going to go back to the example that you set. Yep. That they saw when you were growing up. You know what I mean?
And if they never got to make mistakes, they don't have an example to fall back on. You know what I mean? Well, like later in life, if you never let them do anything.
Well, the thing is, they're going to do it anyway. They're going to do it anyway. They're going to make mistakes, and that's the thing. Like kids these days, they have to understand that you got to pay your dues.
Yeah.
In whatever you decide to do in life, you might be good at it. You still got to pay your dues.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And that's where you make mistakes, and you decide, okay, well, am I going to keep going? And even though this is hard, am I going to keep persisting through all the mistakes, all the failures until I actually get to the success? That's what greatness comes from.
Letting them go through that too, that's what creates resiliency.
Yeah.
And resiliency is just...
It's everything almost.
It's everything.
Persistence is everything. Oh. Persistence.
And they say the definition of resiliency is the elastic of a rubber band popping in and moving back into form. I like that kind of example of... it's kind of like you bend backwards, but you get right back into form, and that's resiliency and being able to go through that. And as much as I never want my daughter's heart to be broken, I never want her to have any pain in life at all. I also know that if I let her have that while I'm around, while she's young enough to still listen and think Dad may know something, when she gets older and thinks the opposite, I want to be able to, I'd rather have those when I can be there to help coach her through that. And so it's the same thing I think with people that you're leading. Be there with them, let them go through that and help coach them of why they did that and what to do better and how to get through that, to teach them that resiliency, that it's okay to go through failures. It's okay to have obstacles that maybe you can't break through it and you need to ask for help. Mm-hmm. Maybe trying to get over that wall. Look, it's okay to ask for help. No telling how many people, I don't care what anybody says, I'm a self-made millionaire. You were never self-made. You had to have people around you. There's no success that I have at all that has zero to do with anybody else but me. It all has to do with everybody else. Nothing I have would be absolutely possible without everybody else around. So don't be afraid to ask for that help, and I think that if you're leading a team or you have children, as hard as it is, you've got to get the emotion out of it and let people fail. Life is going to punch them in the face. They need to know what it's like, how it feels, and how to react. And you got to be there to be the parent, the coach, the leader, to coach them through that. Know it's going to happen. Let them go to it. Even though you're telling them better off doing other things, let them hit those walls and then be there to coach, guide them, pick them up when they got somebody around to do that. Because there's going to be a time in life when they're alone and they get punched in their face and they don't have anybody there to do it. And they can fall back on those efforts of it all. And I'm saying it that I know it's easier said than done now. I didn't before, but now I do know it's easier said than done. But I got to hope I can stick with it. So I hope you're not a lawnmower parent. I hope you're not a lawnmower leader. And I hope you really let people hit it over. So we'll be back in a minute to learn a little more about Aaron on the third segment of Second Shot.
Now that's what I call ignorance on fire. More of Second Shot with Keith Oakes still to come.
You guys have been listening to Second Shot and hearing us talk about it. You need to go pick up my book, Ignorance on Fire, A Journey of Failing Your Way to Success. You can get it on Amazon in a paper book. You can also hear this beautiful voice of mine in audiobook style on Audible or anywhere you're going to get your audiobooks. Guys, this book took a lot of time to put into it, and I believe it can really be some life-changing stuff to help you on your path to success. And hopefully you're going to fail your way to success just like I did. Ignorance on Fire, A Journey of Failing Your Way to Success. Amazon.com, Audible.com, audiobooks, paper books, everything. Get it, share it with your people, and I appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Go pick it up today.
Kick off your boots or suit up. The choice is yours. Welcome back to Second Shot on RNCN.
We're also going to get to give away some hats.
Yes.
2 episodes back, we announced the first 5 emails would get a Second Shot hat mailed to them. And before we get into Aaron's story, I want to tell who those are, and then let you know too. On the next episode, we're going to get more into the emails that you guys actually sent, some questions some of you guys have, and some of that we'll get into on the next episode. And so we have 5. We have the 5 winners.
We do.
Yeah, is that a good drum roll?
Drum roll effect or something?
Should have had
It was a start.
Aaron said it was a start. I got to first say the number 1 email. If y'all know, I said, hey, look, I don't care what you send. Just send an email. Say, I love Zach, whatever. So Jeff Bird Jeff Rollo is a jokester because it was exactly I love Zach and nothing else in the subject line.
Yeah.
So Jeff,
nice.
You were number 1. That was great and hilarious, and that was smart. I like it. You'll be getting a hat. Number 2, our friend Brenda Walker. You got one coming your way. Number 3, Jennifer Richards. Jennifer's actually, I know Jennifer. And she told me she sent an email in. She was like, I hope it's in the top 5. She's one of my top sales managers, so I was like, I'll give you one anyways. But you were number 3. You're getting one. Number 4 was Preston Richards. And number 5 was Ken Hansen. You will all be getting a Second Shot hat in the mail any day now. So thank you for sending your emails. We're going to get into y'all's questions, some stuff y'all say on the next episode as well. So y'all listen back next episode, and we're going to address some of the stuff that y'all have in there. But what I really want to get to is Aaron's story, because I love Aaron's story, and when I first met Aaron, I kind of had a man crush on him, because I was like, I just liked him a lot. Like I could just see having the beer with him. He's been through a lot. He's gone for the risk, and I have so much respect for people that go for what they love, right?
Yeah.
No matter what it is, no matter what through the, like, having some of the highest highs, to starting over and to going with it. Like, I just have so much respect for the people that do that and that also have the spirit that you have, that you're always a positive person looking for better things, to be better at yourself and do all that. And I think it's great. And I feel like your story will really be able to resonate and help, some listeners that are listening that maybe there's some stuff they've been through as well. And I think it's always important to know and hear other people's stuff, the realness, as we said, that instead of these fake people that put up their stuff that act like they have nothing wrong and never been through anything. Everybody knows I'm about as raw and real as it can be, and I tell, I literally have a book about myself that told everything bad and ugly. I don't shy from, because I think that's what's important, especially for the younger people to know that that's real. And so I'd love for you to tell your story and where you've been, where you're going, what you're looking for, and all that.
Yeah, thanks, man. Well, where do I start? Grew up in a little, little country town in Australia, about 3 hours west of Melbourne, and I started playing guitar when I was about 10 years old.
Do y'all have kangaroos around where you grew up?
Yeah.
Do they actually come after you, like fight you?
They're not like, going down the main street of the nearest town or whatever. But yeah, I mean, if you're driving in the country, you'll see them. They don't come after you, but the big guys, the big reds, they're like bodybuilders on steroids.
That's crazy.
You can actually see their rippled muscles.
Wow.
And they're like, they're like 8 feet tall.
That's so cool.
And they've got a big claw.
That's cool.
So yeah, we grew up with all that stuff. Koala bears. Koala bears are smelly, grumpy animals.
I've heard those are very belligerent animals.
Cute.
Yeah, they're not
always
cool.
They're drunk on eucalyptus.
Okay.
Or high.
Good to know.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
so we grew up.
I've heard they're weird.
Yeah,
awesome.
Our first trip, Tiff was freaking out.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So anyway, grew up in a really great country, but always just I just wanted to play music. It called me, and I had my first break when I was about 23 years old in Melbourne. I heard that my hero, the guy that has the highest selling album of all time in Australia, 24 times platinum, his name's John Farnham. He's one of the greatest singers ever to ever have lived as well. He's an incredible, incredible singer. And I'd go see him at arenas in Melbourne. He'd sell like 10 nights out in a row. He's like Garth Brooks or
Bruce
Springsteen, the biggest household name. I heard he was making a new album. So I had this crazy idea. You talk about risk.
Yeah.
I had this crazy idea to send in this song. I wrote this song one night in my little garage studio, and I just felt this was destiny.
Yeah.
It really was. I just felt John Farnham singing this song.
Yeah.
So I thought, I'm going to find the best piano player that I know, and he helped me make a little $80 piano vocal demo on a cassette back when the cassettes were happening. And I did some research and found out how to get that tape to his record company office, which wasn't far from my house in Melbourne, and dropped it there. And I told people about it, and I remember people laughing at me.
Yeah, because they're like, that went to the trash.
Oh, yeah. Good luck.
Totally.
And demos always do. They go into the punter's bin, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And they usually never get listened to. But for some reason, this album this year, they had a policy that they were going to listen to every single song.
Oh, wow.
So 6 weeks later, I'm working as a delivery driver in Melbourne at the time. So like 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning, my cell phone rings, and the voice says, "Hi, can I speak to Aaron Hendra?" And I recognized the voice.
Wow.
It was him.
Wow.
It was my hero calling me on the phone. And it was just
crazy.
Like one of the most incredible feelings and moments you could ever imagine. And so I pulled over, and he said, "Listen, we just listened to your song 5 times in a row. It's unbelievable. Who the hell are you?" And
I'm a delivery driver.
Yeah. And it was just the world stopped for me in that second. And I was so happy. And he said, "Listen, I love your singing. I love your voice, the way you sang it. We love the song. We're going to try to record it." 9 months later, went on the album.
Wow.
Made it on the album. Miracle multi-platinum album.
Multi-platinum album.
I remember the last show of the tour was in Melbourne, and he got me some seats.
Yeah.
So I was sitting way at the back. I don't know why he didn't get me good seats.
Yeah, I'm about to say, he got one of your songs. How come he couldn't get you good seats?
Multi-platinum album. What are you couldn't get good seats?
I don't know what the deal was, but anyway, I was still very, very proud. And it came to the part of the show where he was going to sing my song.
Yeah.
And he said, "This next song we're going to do is written by a young guy in the audience tonight." He said, "Aaron, if you're out there, go to the security desk. I've got some passes for you. I want to have a beer with you after the show in front of 16,000 people."
Oh, wow.
So it was just an amazing thing. So that set me off on this crazy journey. That was about 20 years ago now. But my dream was always to do that in America. Now, obviously, it's a lot harder.
Yeah.
But I that made me believe that I'm a hit songwriter.
Yeah.
I know I'm going to have more hits.
Yeah.
And after that, my best buddy was playing in a band called Savage Garden.
Yep.
And
everybody knows Savage? Truly, Madly, Deeply?
Yeah, sure.
I loved Truly, Madly, Deeply.
Yeah, they had massive success. So Ben Carey was playing guitar with them, and we met in a guitar shop when we were kids. So we always had bands together, and he was like, man, we got to do our own stuff. And I'd just written a bunch of demos. So we did some networking, got a really powerful attorney in LA, and thought, let's just go to the States. Instead of spending 10 years in Australia, let's go straight to the States. And that power of intention was so strong that we ended up getting a record deal in a week of meetings with all the major labels. We got a deal with Hollywood Records and moved to LA.
Wow.
And then a very exciting start. They loved us. They loved our songs, but we just got lost in the
muck,
complete jungle that the music industry is, and we didn't have any really experienced people around us that we could turn to, and tried to work with a bunch of producers. Everyone got fired at the record label, which is what happens.
Yeah.
And we ended up losing the deal at the end of the year. So at that point, I'm like, okay, risk again, risk, faith. What am I going to do? And I decided that no matter what, my life is about music and writing songs. I'm never going to give up. And I got married at about that time, just after that. And greatest gift that I've ever been given, Tiff, and she's just always believed in me. So I had to pay the bills after that, and I decided I'm doing music, but I've got to make some money. So I started building hospitals. I got a job with a guy that owned a construction company who always loved our music and just wanted to help me. So I started as a laborer, worked my way up through the company, and he was, he wanted to groom me to run the company one day.
Yeah.
After a year, I was doing such a good job there because I was the first to the job site every morning and the last to leave. I built computers for the company. They had old computers, did everything, but prayed every day for a second chance with my music because I hadn't finished my album.
Yeah.
And that was the whole reason I wanted to come
to the States.
You never
got to finish it.
No. I had the songs. People believed there were hit songs in there. We recorded like 100 grand's worth of strings at LA Philharmonica, in Ocean Way Studios in Hollywood. Doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah. But
no one had heard it. So I had to finish this album. And about 4.5 years after I started construction, a miracle happened. An amazing guy who's one of my family now, my best buddies, believed in me, backed me, helped me start my own little label, finished the album in a world-class way, and it's on iTunes now. It's called October Song. I'm really happy with it. I'm really proud of it. Well, there's so much to fit into the story in just a few minutes, but I got that finished, and we've been in Dallas about 4 years. End of 2013, my business partner said he was going to leave LA, and I thought, you know what, I finished my album. It's time for a change. I really want Tiff to have a fuller life, and she's from Texas. She was born in Houston and spent a lot of time in Dallas. So I thought, I actually prayed about it because I'm like, I have faith, you know what I mean? And God has, if it wasn't for God, I'd be gone history. So, I thought, what do I do next? Prayed about it. Just Dallas was like ringing, you know what I mean? So, took the risk, and people were scratching their heads that I was telling in LA. Yeah,
because you want to be in music and you leave LA. Yeah.
Why would you go to Dallas? But I just had this feeling. So we moved to Dallas. And 7 months later, Tiff booked a role on a TV show on Bravo.
Yep.
And that, even though, there's good and bad we can talk about
with the
that
Real
show.
Housewives of Dallas, yeah.
Ooh. But the great thing is it gave us an incredible boost that would have taken us years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I went from doing like open mic nights and 10 shows a year to over 100 shows a year. Yeah. And at the end of this year, I'll have done close to 500, probably over 500 solo acoustic shows.
Wow. This year.
And that's what I never had as an LA songwriter.
Yeah.
I was always starving for gigs. Mm. I could never get enough time on stage. It's hard to play in LA. You got to drag 200 people to shows in LA. Otherwise, you got to pay to play. But there's such a demand for live music in Dallas. Mm-hmm. So that risk paid off. And now I have 1,500 hours of hard guitar playing and singing.
That you're just constantly getting better.
I've grown so much as a performer, and that's really what I wanted to do. So again, that risk paid off, and I just want to encourage anyone out there that's got a dream. You got to be willing to work hard. You got to pay your dues, but you can't sit and let no one know about your talent, your skill, your dream. You have to let the world know about your dream, and then have the courage to back it up and the hard work to back it up.
And I think also to know that, like, what I love about your story too is, you go, you hit the jackpot. By taking the risk and doing. So when people say luck, right? They say, "Oh, Aaron was lucky with that first hit." But understand something. How many people would have never recorded that song, never drove down there to put it because they just thought it was a lost cause? Mm. When he did it, they heard it. How's that? I don't understand how people all say that's just lucky when you got to go put your name in the hat to get luck, right? I mean, you know, if you don't put your name in the hat, you're not going to get it. But you hit that high, you come to LA, you get the deal, and then you have to humble yourself and go work in construction to go up. And that's what I think a lot of people got to understand too. Is you didn't give up on your dream by doing that, but you had to do some practical things.
Yeah, it was hard, man. Putting that construction uniform on for the first day was devastating to me, because I thought when we had a house in the Hollywood Hills, $1 million record deal, we thought we were rock stars.
Oh yeah.
And then to go to put a construction uniform on was
tough.
Very humbling. But I'm glad I did, you know, because it made me grow and it made me realize that no matter what I'm wearing,
you never get lost in the muck again. I bet you never let that get the best of you again.
You know what? I have good memories of that time, and I grew so much.
Yeah.
But I want to say one thing about doing it, like sending the song in or not sending the song in. I truly believe that you create the opportunity.
Yeah.
It's not that the opportunity exists or it doesn't exist.
Yep.
You create it. You
Yep.
create that opportunity. We created the record deal, created the TV show by having the faith and the risk and stepping out. You create the opportunity that you're dreaming of. You know, that's the law of attraction.
Yep, absolutely.
Or the Bible. You know, if you as a man thinketh, you know what I mean? Whatever you believe and ask for, you can achieve. I truly believe that. The Bible says it. Law of attraction says it.
Yep.
You know,
I agree.
Anthony Robbins says it.
Yeah.
And all the great people online. There's so many resources online. It's amazing. You know,
Dude,
so just step out. You will create the opportunity if you want it bad enough and you believe in it.
Yeah, I love your story. I love I love that. There's so many people that wouldn't be willing to humble themselves and to do those things, and that says a lot about your character. That says a lot about who you are, and to fight and claw your back way up to it, up to where you are now. I mean, that's the amount of respect, and that I have for you, and why your character is how it is, because you've gone through all of those things, and I think it's extremely awesome. And
thank you, man.
I'm positive somebody out there grabbed somebody and is hitting somebody, because they may have went after their dream and now they're back in a construction uniform thinking it's over and realize it's not over. You got another shot. You got to go with it. So, where can we find you at, Zach?
Well, real quick before we get to me, I want to say congrats to Jeff, Brenda, Jennifer, Preston, and Ken. Yeah, we'll hit you up on email. We'll figure out your address. We'll make it happen. Yes, you can find me at Apple Zach and Tosh on Twitter and Instagram. I'm also in that Facebook group. Hit us up at Second Shot. Facebook group. Second Shot group. Yeah, it's fine. It's great. Check it out.
Aaron, where can they find you at? Where can they connect with you?
AaronHendra.com or Instagram Aaron Hendra, YouTube Aaron Hendra.
Okay. Second Shot Facebook group. Go join it. Be a part of it. It's a great deal. We're sharing a lot of awesome things. And we will see you next time. Ed Heath Oaks, Ignorance on Fire. Love you guys on the next time at Second Shot.
RNCN, the digital destination for premium talk radio.